after rattling off 5 one-score wins, highlighting the Patriots game and the Commanders game from last week. Our Giants have found themselves in the playoff picture. With the Cowboys' 3-game losing streak, we find ourselves half a game behind for the lead in the NFC East. And it just so happens to be Week 18 is against the Cowboys. With 3 games to go today, our fate will be decided. But our first opponents today will be the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently 6-8. And they've had almost the opposite season to ourselves. Second half has been rough. They opened up far better. But that does not mean we should overlook this game. Vikings are coming in with the top 5 pass and rush defense. Our offense has been very hit or miss. We're better against the run defensively. We've also been shredded by a good passing game. So as we take the field trying to keep our hopes of a division championship alive, we are at MetLife Stadium. Minnesota Vikings traveling over as 2 NFC teams go head-to-head. And as we have 3 games to get through, we might look to jump through these a bit more than in games past. But it is Naylor taking the ball from inside the 10, looking to cut back to the outside and eventually tracked down by Johnson and Holland. It will be J.J. McCarthy in what ultimately is his rookie season. 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Of course, this is more so his second year, but with that injury preseason his rookie year, it's been his first time out there. Aaron Jones, 60 yards on 15 carries last week, no touchdowns. The Vikings will also be without his backup in Mason, who did have an injury in practice this week. 2nd and 10, McCarthy will look to go to the air and take the easy check down to Jones, who's going to pick up a good chunk, cutting back towards the inside. For McCarthy, what he really needs here is all of his playmakers to show up, and the Vikings have them on every different level, but McFadden takes away the run there. Loss of 2 on the Jones handoff. Of course, he is playing for more playing time, whether it's going to be in a Giants uniform or in a different uniform. Only the offseason could tell there. With a throw left side, it's caught Justin Jefferson. In coverage, Phillips was tight but unable to jar it away. We're all pretty privy to what Justin Jefferson can do. First down for Minnesota plus side as Jordan Addison goes in motion out to the left-hand side. As they go for the run, behind where Addison left, Bobby Okereke meets Jones for yet another loss of 2. Of course, talking about how good this defense has been against the run before we got going today, trying to shut that down, make them one-sided. As McCarthy squeezes through the gap, he picks up a handful. And that'll leave the Minnesota Vikings here needing 7 yards on 3rd and 7. Ball is at the 40. They will look to go to the air here across the middle. They've got it to Oliver. First down to the 28. That is 3 third down conversions this drive. As this 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Dropping back, and here comes Thibodeau. Somehow McCarthy got away, but he's still got to worry about 2 more as Bobby Okereke finally drags him down. Dexter Lawrence back there as well. And frankly, that play should have ended 3 to 4 seconds earlier. Thibodeau had the clear shot at the young quarterback. 2nd and 17. Throw left side is Jones. Spread out wide. He's had a couple grabs already here in this opening drive. With a bunch to the left-hand side, Minnesota will throw underneath. And there is Sanders with the quick tackle, forcing a 4th and 2 at the 19. It looks like KOC will trot out the field goal unit. Picking this one from the 26-yard line, and Minnesota will find themselves on the board here, closing out their first drive. And it was a long drive. We'll finally take the field on offense here inside 3 minutes. Jackson Dart, a true rookie, 20 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. But of course, it's been the running game leading the way as Tracy finds room for 6 down the middle. And already the Giants look to be going hurry up here. As Dart flips the formation, Neighbors and Robinson head out to the right-hand side. Johnson to the left. No one extra sent. They throw this one out wide. That is Robinson. First down for the Giants. Of course, for Robinson, He very recently has gotten his contract extension, one of the ones that Coach Bearington really wanted to make sure he got done in season. As Fightin moves over to the left-hand side, making a strong eye for Tracy down the middle. That's a gain of 6 on back-to-back carries for the young running back. Scattaboo will check in, giving him a bit of a breather, as it's going to be play action, getting out quickly and throwing downfield. Robinson down inside the 20, down at the 16. Great play design there, forced the bailout of the man covering Robinson. It'll be Tracy into a wall. That wall being cornerstoned by the big old Harrison Phillips. Starting this one prior to his move from the Minnesota Vikings. 2nd and 11. They go back to Tracy. Tracked down by Blackman, another addition that is here for the Vikings in this universe. But in this universe, we are facing a 3rd and 4 at about the 10-yard line, just inside with 2 down in the backfield. They bring that pressure and flip this one to Robinson. He picks up about a gain of a yard, still needing 2. But before we get a decision from Coach Bearington on if they will decide to kick that field goal or not, the quarter has come to a close. 3-0, Minnesota on top, with a chance to tie here for the Giants. As we get the second quarter underway, it is the offense for the Giants, still out on that field. An I formation here, Tracy dotting that I as Dart gets the call. And he's got Tracy with a gap, and he's got 6. Second quarter puts the Giants on top here in MetLife Stadium. 7-3, another rushing touchdown for Tyrone Tracy. The Jets would look to have the Vikings answering quickly. A 23-yard grab has them plus side the following drive. McCarthy goes to hand this one off. Bobby Okereke cannot grab that ankle. Jones chopped out by Holland. But a gash down the left sideline puts Minnesota just outside the red zone. With a pistol, now going with a stretch back to Jones. Bobby forces a cut back in. He has help in Abdul Carter. And Jones appears to be a bit banged up after that carry. Carter did look to come down pretty hard on that midsection, so he'll head to the sideline, get checked out. That brings out running back 3 here, which we'll definitely have to check the depth chart on. Not going to get away from McFadden. That is Carson Steele. Was a steal off the roster of the Kansas City Chiefs. Looked pretty promising in the preseason, but ended up not cracking the 53. As, again, scrambling is McCarthy. Bobby Okereke, though, there to bring him down. That's a 4th and 2. Unlike last time, KOC will be just as aggressive as Coach Bearington. Offense stays on the field. As Jones returns, he is stacked up. That is Giants ball. Turnover on downs at the 11. Bobby Okereke and the linebacker group help fill the gaps, and it does look like he ricochets off of a stout defensive line. Following in the foots of Jefferson, Robinson has us now plus side, coming off a 25-yard grab. Play action, rolling out to the right-hand side, open target across the middle. That is Neighbors. Not able to get a catch and run there, with Cashman coming quickly over to slow down that play. Taking him down at the 37. Offense right back to it. The strong eye, more play action, rolling. And Dart will look to take this one, though neither players over on that left side decide to pick up the one block. Pretty sure Dart thought he had a clear path to at least the first down. Turns out not the case. 2nd and 3 as we approach the 3-minute mark here of the second quarter. It's Tracy with no space to go. Good fill, Ivan Pace Jr. The Vikings force a 3rd and 12, obviously. We've gone for it in similar situations. Tracy going to motion out. That leaves Fightin in the backfield. Trips now to the left-hand side as Dart snaps that ball. He looks to flip the hips. Pressure bearing down from the inside. He will get outside, no problem. Scampering out about the 21. He's been dangerous when able to flip those hips. But prior to the 2-minute warning, that clock still rolls. So through the 2-minute warning, we've got a 1st and 10 at the 21. As there's an open target underneath. That is Robinson. Not going to get by Cashman. He's been good in open field. It does have us set up for what looks to be a 1st and goal rather than the 1st and 10 on the score bug. with some great blocking. Harrison Smith, an absolute touchdown-saving tackle coming in from the veteran. Scadaboo thought he had it. Instead, they'll have to fight another down. Neighbors with some strong hands. But yet again, he is shy of the end zone. Well inside 30 seconds here. Fighting, also marked short. Ivan Pace with a touchdown-saving tackle for the third time. Coach Bearington, though, will call that timeout. And with a 4th and goal, the half-yard line. It's goal line set. Scadaboo dotting the I. And it's another stop on defense, though this time it's Minnesota. And with 15 seconds, they take over inside the 1. As they try to get Jones out, but the safety comes in instead. Giants miss out on a touchdown, but they get the safety with McFadden and company yet again getting a good push. And that will be where the first half comes to a close. You get the safety, you miss out on the touchdown after you forego the field goal, which would have been 3 points, so you at least get something. But it's about the bottommost level of what you could have gotten to close out the half. As we take a look around the league here, bouncing off a tackle in the backfield, slipping another about the 11, and scrambling his way to the end zone and for the win. Bears take down the Packers 28-21. Now, as for Washington, they've had a lot of struggles in the second half, same as the Eagles. But Hurts here going out on the tight end screen. Good blocks downfield and plowing through Bobby Wagner. A 30-21 win over the Commanders has the Eagles closing in behind us. But as we look to get our second half underway, we're at a good spot to start to make sure we keep racking up these wins. We've just got to do a far better job of finishing drives. But as we start the second half, it's us trying to extend a drive. On the midfield logo, 4th and 4. Should have been a free play. Instead, throwing, it's Neighbors. He breaks through 2 tackles and then gets popped by Harrison Smith, but the damage is done. First down for the Giants as they do look to go hurry up off of it. Looking for a change is Dart, and that does very much slow down the hurry up aspect of things. Rolling to the right, and again firing behind to Neighbors. He's been looking for that behind receiver today. And to be quite frank, it's working out pretty well here for the Giants as they are back inside the red zone. They need a touchdown this time. Under pressure, that one's barely by Phillips. Cashman gets back there. After a couple big plays back-to-back, you fall short there inside the red zone. But you still got a few more downs to work with here as they do stick with the passing game here. Dart steps up, avoids the loss, and lowers that shoulder. Younger quarterbacks get away with that far more than the older guys. But a 3rd and 2 here. Bunch right-hand side as Hyatt comes in. Booty over to the left-hand side. Scadaboo the back as he gets the ball with the first down. Ivan Pace yet again meeting him in the gap. Just that time not quite quick enough. With a weak eye here, Dart changing up the call. Fires left side, Neighbors. It does have the touchdown. Refs took a moment to decide. But Malik Neighbors with the touchdown this time for the Giants inside the red zone. They extend their 9-3 lead, making it instead 15-3. And we say 15 because the offense is still out there. They want the 17 here, as that would make it a 2-score lead for them. And this time, Robinson's 1-yard drag is plenty good enough. Though technically that would be about a 2-yard drag. And it is an 8-point play here for the Giants. They find that 17-3 lead they were looking for. If you're the G-men, you could really take a stranglehold on this game. With a stop here, 3rd and 8 for the Vikings the following drive. They've got a couple routes across the middle. It is broken up by McFadden and Bobby Okereke. Addison not able to hold on. That should be a punt forced. But as we move on and enter the 4th quarter, it's a 4th and 1. And again, Giants are on the field here with their offense on their own side of the field. And it's fighting down the middle. He's got plenty of space. So much space he didn't even know what to do with. Great blocking. No one left down the middle for the Vikings. And inside 6 minutes to go here. It's right where you want to be. Slowing down your offense, making sure you still find some yardage here, and you get at least one there with the Tracy carry. The biggest thing for the Giants right now is just some consistency. Pick up 3-4 yards of play, get the first down, and drain that clock. Zito looked to go to the air here, instead Dart. He looks to leak out left-hand side, first down, sliding under the safety. And it's going to be vitally important here in these last few weeks to make sure you finish games strong. That is where the Giants have struggled. They've allowed their opponent to come back late. They've got to shut it down here. Tracy with the spin is through the gap, and he's through 3 more players before finally being dragged down. However, it does appear double injuries on the play for the Giants. Fait and Johnson both banged up, both tight ends. So we're going to see some difference here. Lamb, the backup tackle, comes in at tight end, and Bellinger comes in at fullback. Tracy dotting that I. He gets popped through Schmitz Jr. Until we find out some good news about Johnson, things might look a little bit strange here for this offense. A 2nd and 13. They are letting that clock run down. Trying to set up a screen on the outside. Tracy gets lit up again by Ivan Pace Jr. He's headhunting out there. He does at least manage to pick up decent chunk. And both Fait and Johnson check in here for the 3rd and 8. They're letting that clock roll down inside 3 minutes. Snap it with a 2nd on the play clock. Rolling to the right-hand side and flipping it forward. That is Tracy. Not able to get the backspin there on Blackman. The drive stays alive here for the Giants, approaching 2 minutes. The 1st and goal. Scattaboo is back in. And he's right down the middle to the 1. Safeties withstand for now. Honestly, that works in favor of the Giants as it lets that clock roll to the 2-minute warning. As they will be 2nd and goal at the 1 post-break. Giants up 17-3 here. They're looking for the dagger. Tracy will not be denied. A 2nd rushing touchdown for him. Cashman unable to drag him down prior to the goal line. And for the Giants, that should be the dub. The Vikings don't want to come out here, only putting 3 on the board. A late push here for McCarthy is a sack. The final timeout called for Minnesota. They're on the road. Their season has fallen apart in the second half, and this doesn't appear to be swinging them any more further. With a 4th and 5, McCarthy steps up to run. He's got the first down. They'll have just a little bit more time to work with here. Throwing back, nearly picked off McFadden. Looked like he knew exactly where J.J. McCarthy was going to go there. He backpedaled right into that passing window. They'll have a couple more downs to work with. Bobby Okereke swats it down. It'll all come down to this play right here for the Vikings. A little bit of something for the road. As they just send everyone downfield. Debo gives up the touchdown in the back corner for the Vikings. They get a touchdown on the board, but that will be it here for MetLife. It is 24-10. Giants pick up yet another win. We'll have to check in on the Cowboys. With 2 more weeks to go, this division is up in the air. And make it official. The Giants have flipped the NFC East. Just a handful of weeks ago, it feels like we were down here at 4. All the way now up at the top, and that is thanks to a 6-game win streak. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have dropped 4 in a row. The Commanders have dropped 2. Eagles, though, not that far behind with 2 weeks to go. They're on a 2-game win streak. We've got some tough games ahead of us. Facing the Las Vegas Raiders at home. They are also 9-6. Geno's having a pretty solid field general style year. 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 65% complete. The rookie Ingenti is averaging 4 yards a carry with 6 touchdowns. But they also are getting White involved. He's averaging more, has more rushing touchdowns, but he also has a fumble on the year. Meanwhile, Jacoby Myers over 700 yards receiving, but it is Brock Bowers leading them in receiving touchdowns with 7. They have a major weakness up front in Colton Miller, giving up 18 sacks this year. Abdul Carter better make that 20, if not higher. And defensively, they've got some dudes. Jermaine Pratt, 88 tackles. They have 2 players in double-digit TFLs, Tyree Wilson and Christian Wilkins. And Max Crosby, with 2 games to go, has 24 sacks. And that means we have a new record holder for sacks in a season. Max Crosby has done more than any other pass rusher in NFL history. So as we tighten up those pads, put on the helmets, and head on out on the field in Las Vegas, we face the Raiders in a tough matchup, looking to keep our hold at the top of the NFC East before we battle out for that banner in Week 18. It's Raiders, Week 17. It will be our defense out first as Gano has us underway. It will be Raiders taking this one from inside the 5, looking for a turn down the gut and upended by Holland. At the 25, Geno Smith will hit the field with a rookie behind him in Ashton Genty. And they'll be up to our top 5 run defense and making sure he doesn't have much space to run here today. As they go play action off of him immediately, and Brock Bowers gets space on Holland, who will have to backtrack to get the tackle at about midfield. That's something I don't really feel like the Giants have faced much this year as a team with a dominant tight end. It's going to put more pressure on this linebacker and safety group. The play action here. Genty now open over on the right-hand side. He's headed downfield. Full head of steam and shucks off Bobby Okereke. Paulson Adebo wants nothing to do with it. He dives and misses. Eventually dragged down at the 16. Genty with the big play goes near 35 yards. It sets up the Raiders inside the red zone. 2 spread either side now for Geno. Slants both sides, but lofted back to Genty. McFadden doesn't want anything to do with that strength. He chops him out. And honestly, that might be a pretty smart call on his part until he hurdles them. But that hasn't happened yet. 2nd and 7 following the shorter gain, and Thibodeau tracks him down from behind. Loss of 2. The Raiders now will have to face a 3rd and long here. They need the 6-yard line. They got 3 spread out to the right-hand side. Little shimmy. Throwing this one back of the end zone, and it's over the top of both of their heads. Phillips most definitely. But ultimately, they'll have to rely on Daniel Carlson as they trot out the field goal unit here. Kicking from just about the... Carlson has it right down the center. Raiders with a field goal off their opening drive, though they expected more. As for the Giants, they'll start at the 27 with high expectations as well. They've done great in the first 3 quarters of their games. They got away with some lackluster 4th quarter last week. See if they can get away with it here. There's no one quite breaking open. Throwing this one out, it's high. Robinson, the intended target. Leaves it 2nd and 10 then. This time they look to hand it off. Tracy, he's got a lane. Getting north and picking up that first down to the 42. He's been a solid 1 cut back here for us. And typically he's getting the far better blocking than any of our running backs. Floated this one out. It's Johnson. He was pretty quiet last week, but he picks up the big game here for the Giants. They go plus side to the 40. The knife formation here for Dart. More play action. Lofting this one again to Johnson. He had about 5 more yards. That's a pick. Luckily for Dart, the sideline was there. 2nd and 10. They just do a straight drop back here. He gets away from Crosby. Rolling out to the right side. He picks up that block and skirts forward for the first down. The main goal today is definitely stay away from Max Crosby. Good news is he's not on the field here for the 1st and 10 at the 28. They bring the blitz. Rolling over to the left-hand side this time. And again, he picks up the block, but he steps toe out of bounds. He's able to maintain that momentum a little bit more. We might be calling a house play. Scattaboo down the middle, powers forward with what he can, making it 3rd and inches. That's another prime example of how he very much is not getting this same kind of space as Tracy. Perhaps because of that, Tracy's on the field here. Dotting that I, and again, far more space. Crosby slows him down. Looked like he hopped on his back as he crossed the 10. Giants looking to go hurry up, though, as they'll stick with the same formation. Now going to send Johnson in motion over from the right side to the left. And lofting that one, it's Tracy out at the 2. Getting the momentum, not exactly on the favor of the Giants the last couple plays. Scattaboo the back here, and he's met by Wilkins in the backfield. This time the Giants do lose yards. Back to the 3 for 3rd and goal. Bunch right side with the hard count. Looks like we'll be moving half the distance closer. Roderick Washington trying to get the upper hand. It gives us a slight better advantage here, but slight is very slight. Scattaboo the back, fighting in the backfield as well, as it is Cam for the touchdown. And in back-to-back weeks, the opponent opens up with a field goal, but the Giants answer with a touchdown. But before we could even get back into the game, first quarter comes to an end with a 57-yard Ashton Genty touchdown run on a 1st and 10 at the opposite 43. We've gotten pretty lucky in not missing touchdown plays, but that is a big one. The first quarter comes to a close as the Raiders regain the lead, 10-7. As we look to get into the second quarter, we're a couple minutes in, and the Raiders have the ball. They're plus side, and somehow they're able to get that pass out. Good news for the Giants, it's off the fingertips of the intended target, but Smith was under pressure there from Thibodeau. The 2nd and 10. Throwing inside, he finds Myers. Was read well by Sanders, he just wasn't able to make a play on the ball. Those end up picking up 4 for the Raiders, setting up a 3rd and 6 at the 36. Gino under pressure, lofts this one. Myers downfield is by Asante Samuel Jr. And the timing and the loft on that throw was just perfect, letting Jacoby Myers run underneath it. And facing the double A gap blitz, Gino knew he had to sit back there and wait for the timing to show, and that he did. So now trailing by 10, we will jump into the start of the following possession. With 4:43 left to go here in this first half, Giants got to find themselves an answer. As he rolls over to the right-hand side, tried to force the DBs to make a decision. The decision ultimately was scramble, pick up what you can. Dart gets 6, play 1, we got 2nd and 4. As it's Scattaboo looking to get outside, he picks up 1 block, finally gets north. Referees, though, not going to give him a favorable spot. 3rd and inches. The bells toll here in Allegiant Stadium. They go fighting as Tracy leads the way. I don't know if he really got a block, but the first down is gained. You got to appreciate Coach giving the fullback a little bit of some love here this season. Even though it's really a tight end playing that role, the rookie tight end. The throw outside, Robinson with the first down. Dart really had 2 options out that way as well. Ends up at least finding one of them. The 1st and 10, fight in motions weak side as they go with a weak side toss. You do not get Pratt though, and that's going to blow up the run. Or at least as much as you can on a gain of 4. Could have been a first down if not more. As Dart snaps that ball. He throws out to the right-hand side. That's Booty for the first down, trying to get every little inch he can. As they do look to go hurry up here. Trying to get that ball snapped before the 2-minute break. They will snap it with 2:02 on the clock. Letting this one set up and throwing out to Crosby, who just backpedaled into that passing window. Leading the league in all-time sack leader as well in a regular season. Don't expect him to be back in coverage. Little pump fake action. Dartley going to look to scramble here, and he gets shoved down. Short of the line to gain, it's 3rd and 2. I'm not too sure how many NFL caliber linebackers you're going to be juking out here. As they hand this one off, Tracy finally gets that block. He bounces off of 1. He's got the first down to the 21. Giants do have all of their timeouts, but choosing not to use them yet. They do go hurry up. With 2 over to the right-hand side, Johnson to the left. It's play action. They've got Robinson open. That's put it right on the money for him. He's down inside the 4. They've got time. They will get back to the line quickly here. See what the Raiders line up with and then make their decision on how they wish to attack. Dart changes up their look. Raiders get set for the play. Rolling to the outside here. Dart has a lane, and he will carry it to the end zone. Giants digging in here to the former 10-point lead for the Raiders. Looking to make it just a field goal come halftime. However, Geno might have other things in mind. They find Betch on the outside for a big gain. Play one, and they're immediately inside field goal range. And they've got a timeout to spare. This game is a prime example of why both these teams are playoff caliber this season. They are going back and forth. Geno with 38 seconds. He's facing the blitz. It's out quickly to Genty. Holland dragging him down. That's only after he picks up the first down. Raiders, though, do not call that final timeout. They're letting this clock run. And eventually they'll call the timeout with 4 seconds to go here. You could argue clock mismanagement there from Pete Carroll. However, you could also argue that it was planned. You let that clock run. You see if the defense lines up in something you don't like, maybe you take that shot. But they will take Carlson, putting them up by 6 as we head to the halfway break. And for Coach Bearington, he's going to need his defense to step up in the second half. The Giants' offense has played pretty well with the time they have had out there. They just need to find some more points, and the defense has to give them the opportunity to do so. But as we take a break here from our game, we're going to look around the league here. A battle of 5-10 versus 10-5. And it's a handoff to Chuba Hubbard, juking out the safety, the last line of defense. It's a touchdown for the Panthers over the Seahawks, 14-6. Not a touchdown for Sam Darnold on the day. Tennessee Titans, they are 7-8. Meanwhile, the Saints, they are not having a good year, 4-11. Meanwhile, the first overall pick will just step up with the open space to the end zone. He gets a rushing touchdown, no passing touchdown, but the win over the Saints. For the Miami Dolphins, 9-6, facing the 12-3 Buccaneers, top of our conference. It's Tua rolling weak side, throwing downfield, cameraman a bit slow, and slow is the defense to react as it is Tyreek Hill with the touchdown. Tua gets it over Baker, 16-9. A whole lot of low-scoring games across the league. But as we look to get back to our game, we're in the final third here of the third quarter. And it is Raiders ball plus side. And it's read option here for Geno. He's taken down a short carry for him. Right now he does have the Raiders inside Carlson's range, and they are already up here by 6. But 2 minutes to go inside the third. And throwing this one out to Genty. A little bit behind him, and he's unable to make the adjustment. Frankly, if he was able to make that adjustment, we're probably talking about a touchdown right now. Instead, 3rd and 7 for the Raiders. As Geno looks to scramble, McFadden misses. Good news, Banks does not. We do force that field goal attempt inside the 30. But that attempt would not be good enough here for Pete Carroll. He wants an emphatic lead here. Offense stays on, and Genty has plenty of space. Honestly, it closed around him a little bit quicker than expected, but he's nearing 100 rushing yards. Big thanks to that 57-yard touchdown he had in the first half. For the Raiders, that is the drive in continue at the 22. And they look to go right back to Genty with some great blocks on the edge. Paulson Adebo will not catch the rookie. It is a 13-point lead. If they choose to go with the PAT, they could very well keep the offense out there looking for a 14-point lead. It looks like that is what Carroll will decide. So with just under a minute to go here in the third, Raiders trying to go up 2 touchdowns. Geno, though, under pressure. McFadden showing up again. We've called his name a lot these last 2 games. But the names we really need to be calling right now, they're going to be on offense. We take over at the 23, 53 seconds left in the third. We need some touchdowns here, and we could use them as quickly as possible. Rolling. Dart will just pick up what he can. He did slip a tackle there at the sideline. Those only pick up a short gain of 3. Raiders bring pressure off the right side. Rolling, though, over to the left side, and he'll just have to get rid of it. Still taking the hit. Definitely don't like seeing that, but we've done a pretty good job against Crosby. Primarily matched up against Andrew Thomas over on the right-hand side. Tracy with a little bit of a motion over on the right side. It's Neighbors left side and short. 4th and 3. But the offense is right to it here. As they get lined up bunch over to the right-hand side. Tracy to the left. Again, he goes in that short motion, but they do snap it in time. And underneath, they've got Johnson. First down, and that is a late hit from Wilkins. No penalty on it. We head to the break. Should have been a free 15 to close it out. As we could use with 15 points here, that is for sure. 26-14, 12 would do for the tie. But frankly, 2 touchdowns for us would be good enough. We've just got to get the job done. With 8 minutes to go, the 4th quarter is underway. Zay throws back to Johnson. He closed out the 3rd. He starts the 4th with a first down. That last-ditch effort there, fighting through the tackle about as much as he could. The Giants keeping with that hurry up here, rolling. And Dart will chuck this one downfield, but just out of reach for Johnson. Massive props, though, for the man in coverage, staying step for step. Johnson is a big guy, but he's got a whole lot of speed. Tracy's got some speed as well as the 2 defenders collide. He's got at least the first down way down to the 22. Perhaps some fresh legs. Again, we're talking touchdown, but we didn't quite have it there. But a big play nonetheless for the Giants. They go back to that play action. They flip it outside. It's fighting. They're going to turn up the sideline. He picks up 7. Mostly the Raiders doing a great job out there of closing space. Several times today, the Giants acting like they have everything they're looking for, but it just closes around them as Robinson short. He got that secure grab, but he didn't secure the first down. So with 3rd and 1, it's going to be Tracy cutting left side, juke and in. One of the 2 needed has come for the Giants. They get down the field quickly here in the 4th quarter. They draw this game to a 1-possession score, needing their defense to pick up a quick stop. But it is not proving easy for this group. A 5-point game, 26-21, and the Raiders are back in plus side. Closing in on the 4-minute mark. Genty standing tall in the backfield. They throw his way, and once again, McFadden is there with a whole lot of company. Sanders helps clean it up for a loss of 5. And we did hear Coach challenge Abdul Carter before this game with how Colt Miller has played. Miller has put together a phenomenal game today, but Lawrence gets the pressure down the middle instead. Back to the 43 with a 3rd and 22. But frankly, what this Giants team needs here is yet another sack. You've got to push them back outside of field goal range. As Gino will look to throw here. He's going for it all. Paulson Adebo picks it off in the end zone, but they have thrown flags in that area. They were jostling for position, and they're going to throw the penalty on Paulson Adebo. And you could argue Vegas cooking all day long with that call. There was a slight bump against his former teammate in Slayton, but that should 100% have been an interception. Play standing. Giants send it all there. Lawrence gets there first. Well, the Giants have got to feel absolutely furious out there, and I'm sure Coach Bearington is letting the referee on the sideline hear it all. Thibodeau nearly gives them half the distance. Gino on the keeper. Thibodeau with the clothesline. And a timeout called with 17 seconds prior to the 2-minute warning. Coach Bearington and the Giants still will have 2 more, but it's a 3rd and goal here. They've got to force a field goal attempt here. That would keep it an 8-point ball game with a chance to try to make something happen as Gino scrambles. Second effort. Bobby whips him forward. And it's back to a 2-score lead that should have never been. Called defensive pass interference on an interception in the end zone. Raiders with a gift. And that means for the Giants, you got to get down the field and do it almost instantaneously. You've already used one of your timeouts. You got 2:06 to go here, and you need 2 scores. They'll start, obviously, through the air. Dart has to find somewhere to go here. He'll pick up what he can and send us through the final free stoppage. 2nd and 2 post-break at the 42. Now they're going to send Neighbors and Bellinger over to the left-hand side here. Look to set up their play quickly across the middle. That is Neighbors. He finds some space. Crossing the 45. Now you need to hurry up here. The Giants seem to be taking their time to finally get back to the line. Good news, that clock was paused for a moment. Not quite sure why. This isn't college. As it's play action. Dart having to bail back even further. Rolling. And he'll just find the sideline. Taken down, though, inbounds. If only we knew how to roll with the tackle like Gino. We might have been out of bounds there, and that clock would have been stopped. Instead, we're panting out here, trying to get down the field as quickly as possible. And throwing to Johnson. Somehow he knew to come back for that one. He must have been staring at the big board above his head. Or perhaps he heard the sideline yelling. Fans maybe, I don't know. Either way, a great play from the tight end. As they continue with that hurry up here, we've still got a hair over a minute to go. They're trying to find the end zone. As it's Bellinger popped. That'll stop the clock as it falls incomplete. I think everyone actually kind of happy that is the case. Everyone gets a little bit of a breather. Scadaboo checks in with Fightin in the backfield. They roll. Everyone's open the opposite way, ripping it towards the sideline. Robinson actually catches it. Don't ask me how. I don't know. But we will take that for sure. Much needed. With a 3rd and 1. They do hand it off. Tracy stopped initially and stopped short, though. Joey Porter is injured on the play. That is a free timeout here for the Giants. Looks like the trainer checking out that shoulder for him. Meanwhile, it's 4th and inches at the 3. Tracy fights through and has the touchdown for the Giants. They talked about needing to get down the field and do it quickly, and that's about as quickly as you can without using a single one of your timeouts. You have 2, but you still might need that onside. The game ultimately seems to come down to this play right here. Onside attempt. And Gano fires it off the hands of the up man. It is Giants ball at the 41 with 2 timeouts to use. They do need a touchdown. They're just coming off a great touchdown drive as well. Dart scrambling, looking for the block there from Johnson. He's a couple yards short. His teammates come over to help him up because they've got to keep going here. They're at the 48. They're 52 yards away from taking a lead. Play action. Throwing this one outside to Johnson and out of bounds. It's now 38 seconds to work with, and you are plus side. Finding a lot of 2 tight end works, because we're going to call it 2 tight end, as it's really not a fullback. Johnson taken down, gain of 5. They fire that one quickly. Offense right back to it as everyone was close to the line. But we're inside 30 seconds of play here. Rolling out to the right-hand side. They've got the receiver. That is Robinson. He speeds downfield and is out at the 7. 1st and goal, Giants. They still have timeouts to work with here, so they don't have to do anything they're not comfortable with. Just play smart football. As Dart doesn't have anywhere to go, he bails over to the left-hand side, and he will scamper out at the 6. A smart play from the rookie to not force a pass there. We've seen plenty do it before. 2 timeouts still in that back pocket. Pressure building down the middle, and he is obviously gassed back there. Not able to flip his hips this time. It's 3rd and goal. Giants, they obviously need that touchdown. They've got 2 plays to work with here. 7 seconds in total. 2 backs in the backfield. As they look to set up a screen, it's a Scadaboo who gets the block. Giants find the lead with 2 seconds to spare. What a comeback here for Coach Bearington and the Blue Men. An absolute fantastic day here in Week 17. The comeback is complete, even though the refs didn't seem to want to let it happen. And they will even keep the offense out there just to try to avoid any sort of late shenanigans with a possible field goal tying this thing. But they could fire it outside. Johnson was left uncovered. Raiders sent the blitz. It's 36-33. And if you play smart here, you force a return. You want them to try to waste these last 2 seconds. Holmes on the run, breaks over to the left side, puts a spin move on nobody. Giants complete the comeback with the tackle on special teams. 36-33. This game will go down in infamy. And there is no way you could follow up a game like that with yet another game. So we will not be playing the final game here of our regular season in this episode. But it's not exactly gonna be needed, as with that win, we have clinched the division. Now that does not mean that the seeding has all been confirmed. As we take a look at just the NFC here, there is a pretty tight race for anywhere from 3 down to potentially 7. 49ers are 9-7, Seahawks are 10-6, as with us and the Falcons. Rams, they are 11-5 with the Lions, and then the Buccaneers are 12-4. Now we have a game in hand on the Lions. So perhaps if we win that final game against the Cowboys and they lose, we would jump ahead of them. Now there's still a whole lot of other things that would play into that. And for that, we will have a doubleheader on Thursday. It will be the final bit here of the regular season. We won't put too much time into that game, but that will get us into the playoffs and will give us double games there. That leaves next week. If we win that playoff game, playoffs will be 1 game per episode to put full emphasis on that and to watch it all happen. But as it stands right now, your New York Giants have won the division. And with that, they deserve your support. So smash that thumbs up button. And on top of it, if you have not already, hit the bear icon in the bottom right or scroll down, hit that sub button and tap that bell icon so you're notified of when all these videos go live. Giants are looking at playoffs. Kent State having a phenomenal year. If you missed yesterday's episode, go check it out right after this video. And both are looking to capitalize on a fantastic year that might have been a little bit rough at times, but is really coming into fruition. So we will see you all next time as we do get into the playoffs. Who that opponent's going to be, what seed are we going to be, that will all be decided early on in that next episode. That will be Thursday. Kent State Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're here Tuesday, Thursday. A whole lot of football coming at you. And what a game to close on today.